salt of the earth. And Luke speaks about salt of the soil. What does salt of the soil mean? The word soil and earth is actually, they are closely related. But Luke paints two aspects when it comes to salt. And the first aspect, salt was actually extracted from the Dead Sea. Dead Sea has around 29% of salt. And from the Dead Sea, they will go with it home, and in the backyard, there were no toilets those days, like the ones that we have where you go and then you flush. During those days, the toilets were actually in the backyard. So you will go and do whatever you will do. And then there was a box that had salt. So you will take a handful of salt and then you will sprinkle. So salt in that manner would actually stop some things from spreading. Tuko pamoja? Salt will stop some things from spreading. It was actually used as a disinfectant. Because when Jesus was speaking during that time, Jesus was trying to use the familiar so that he would bring a spiritual principle. And then the second aspect, let's go to Luke chapter 14, verse 34. The second aspect, salt is good, but if it loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? Verse 35. It is fit neither for the soil, the one that I explained, nor for the manure, meaning that salt was also used as fertilizer. Salt was also used as manure. And another thing about salt is they will also spread salt. And salt will actually be used when it came to the growth of plants. So salt has two aspects, not the culinary thing that we think about, but one as a not as a preservative, but one as a detergent, which means that it hinders some things from spreading. It hinders some things from actually going and making an influence in a negative way. And the other aspect is that it encourages or promotes plants to grow or things to actually thrive. And this is what Jesus was trying to say. Us as leaders, you as a leader, are you someone who is either inhibiting things from spreading, or are you actually encouraging things from growing? And you see, salt does not change an environment by what it says, but by what it is. And you just need a certain proportion of salt. So when Jesus was saying salt of the earth, I believe that each and every one of us in this place is a leader. Are you salt in a manner that you have to be in an environment whereby you are either inhibiting some things from happening, or you are allowing some things, some good things to happen? Is it making sense? And this is not just by speaking, just by you being there, just by you being present in an environment. That's why if you find salt in a salt shaker, it's of no use. It's of no use until it goes to an environment whereby it has to stop. It has to stop the things that are happening, especially the bad things. And we have been called as leaders to actually stop the things that are happening in the world today, because leadership comes from a place of responsibility. Are you responding as salt in the places that God has planted you? You know, sometimes one of the things I have as an issue amongst us Christians is, yes, there are times that we just want to be among Christians. But if all of us are salt, are we of importance? That's why we have to look at it from a perspective like what Jesus is saying. We have to be in an environment